With the Vikings being $16 million over the cap, some major changes are coming. Who the heck is going to play linebacker for us?
Strong side! Left side! Strong side! Left side! Strong side! Left side! Strong side! Left side! Strong side! Ah!
Such a great movie! Thanks. Let's get it. Welcome to Norse News, where we talk all things Minnesota Vikings, and I throw my 2 cents in on the daily. So we're looking at PFF's top 10 linebackers of 2022. Now, again, there could be a ton of changes coming to the available free agents in this class, as teams can still choose to use their franchise tags. More players can get cut due to cap reasons. These guys can get re-signed by their teams prior to. So all this is speculative. So PFF's number 1 ranked linebacker is Devondre Campbell. His 2021 PFF grade was 84.3. That ranked second out of 89 linebackers in the NFL last year. The Packers got a steal of a linebacker, only paying him, I believe it was like $4.5 million, $2 million last year. So, and he was graded second among linebackers through week 18. Devondre Campbell most likely won't be retained by the Packers. They can't really afford players right now. His projected contract is 2 years, $18 million, so that's $9 million per year. They can make changes, but they also have to deal with Devontae Adams and and the rest of their entire free agent class. So Devondre Campbell may actually be one of those linebackers that are available, and he's only 28 years old. He played in a 3-4 defense, so sitting him right next to Eric Kendricks might be a pipe dream, to be honest. I mean, he's going to be at minimum looking for $9 million a year, and if we're going to pay anybody $9 million a year, we might want to pay Anthony Barr to play the jack role in the 3-4 defense. But we'll get to Anthony Barr down the road here a little bit here. So let's move on to Alexander Johnson, PFF's number 2 ranked linebacker in this year's 2022 free agency class. In 2021, his PFF grade was 80.1. That ranked him 3rd out of all linebackers. Alexander Johnson's a bit older. He's 30 years old. But one thing that he does have in common with the Minnesota Vikings is he played for the Denver Broncos. And who is the Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator? You guessed it. So would Alexander Johnson be one of the players the Vikings go after to kind of restock their defense, considering the fact that we're pretty freaking sparse? I highly doubt that they're going to go with Alexander Johnson, especially if he's looking for $7 million a year. PFF's number 3 ranked linebacker is Foyesade Oluokun. I don't think I said that right, but we're going to go with Foyesade. Foyesade played for the Falcons this year. He's only 26 years old. PFF ranked him as the 71st out of 89 linebackers ranked last year with a 43.7 grade. And to be honest with you, they're expecting him to get a 4-year, $40 million deal, which is just flat out, most likely, way too expensive for the Vikings to even consider. And I wouldn't want to dish out $10 million a year for the 71st ranked linebacker. Our money can be spent elsewhere. PFF's number 4 ranked linebacker is Leighton Vander Esch. In 2021, PFF ranked him 60.4, 30th out of 89 linebackers in the league. Leighton Vander Esch has been inconsistent throughout his entire career. Some years he is just ridiculous, and then you don't really hear anything other years. So he's also young. This is going to be his first attempt at free agency. This is one of the guys that I think is going to re-sign prior to free agency actually opening, if the Cowboys can get the cap space, or if they find value in him specifically for what they're trying to do moving forward. So the projected contract is 3 years, $25 million, $8 million per year. I just don't see the Vikings paying him. The number 5 ranked PFF linebacker for this year's free agency is Josie Jewell. His 2021 PFF grade was 83.5. I believe it was actually incomplete. So Josie Jewell really intrigues me. One, he has a connection with Vikings defensive coordinator Ed Donatel. But he's coming off a major injury with his, I believe, his pectoral. So he is going to, if he's available, if he's not re-signed by Denver, look for the Vikings to take a stab at him on a possible one-year deal, like the projected contract this PFF saying. For $6 million is what they're saying. I'd be willing to try that deal out for sure. When he was healthy, he is a pretty dang solid pass rusher, and Josie Jewell's in his prime. So Josie's going to have, a chip on his shoulder to show everybody, who he is, what he can do. And I think that if the Vikings can get him on the cheap, $6 million, and then like an approve-it deal, going into next season when we have a heck of a lot more cap space after we trade Kirk Cousins, if he has a great year, look for us to re-sign him next year. So Josie Jewell specifically is the one that I'm looking for in free agency. We just have to get underneath the cap with our next moves. So PFF's number 6th ranked linebacker is Donta Hightower. His 2021 PFF grade was 50.6. That was ranked him 51st out of 89 linebackers in the league. So I'm not really going to go over Hightower too much. He's 32 years old. I highly doubt that we're going to give him a sniff at all. His projected contract is 2 years, $15 million, him being 32 years old. That makes sense for some other team that might be looking to fill a spot that's looking to compete for a Super Bowl, but we're kind of rebuilding. Retooling is the term I keep hearing quite a bit of, so we're going to go with retooling. And I don't see us paying $7.5 million for a 32-year-old linebacker. Number 7th ranked PFF linebacker this offseason would be Anthony Barr. Now, I know people are thinking, he got void years, he's not coming back. I wouldn't necessarily guarantee that Anthony Barr's not coming back now. Now, it could have been an oversight with Kevin O'Connell saying Anthony Barr's name in the introductory press conference, but, there could be some interest still there with the head coach. Now, we're all familiar with Anthony Barr, and when he's on the field and healthy, he could be a difference maker. And he would be perfect in a 3-4 defense, playing the jack or playing the strong side, opposite Daniil. I would love Anthony Barr in this defense. Can we afford him? Does he want to come back? That's the major question. Not only that, but personally, I've been looking at, all the injury issues that Anthony had last year, and it seems like there's a continuing knee issue that needs to be looked at. I don't want to say it's degenerative. Don't quote me on that. I'm concerned that he may be having some kind of like arthritis or something in that knee. Again, that's all speculative at this point, so it's just a little bit of a concern. But anyway, his 2021 PFF grade was a 64.2, ranked him 24th out of 89 linebackers. He is a phenomenal pass rusher when utilized correctly. He is 30 years old, and I want to keep him, but, if we can afford him, we can afford him. If we can't, we can't. Moving on down to PFF's number 8 ranked linebacker, Kaiser White. His 2021 PFF grade was a 65.1. That ranked him 22nd out of 89 linebackers. So his projected contract's $12.5 million, $6.25 million a year. Played for Los Angeles Chargers, 107 solo tackles, ranked 8th in the league. His overall grade was a 66.5. So Kaiser White most likely won't be available. The Chargers are most likely going to re-sign him. It doesn't make sense not to re-sign him for them unless they're having some sort of cap issue, and I'm not going to sit here and go into Chargers talk for their cap issues. So, but Kaiser being a 25-year-old young linebacker, we could take a look at. And most of these linebackers that are on this list, outside of Anthony Barr and maybe a couple others, they all played in a 3-4 defense of some sort. PFF's number 9th ranked linebacker, you're looking at Juwan Bentley. For 2021, his PFF grade was 65.1, tied for 23rd out of 89. Juwan Bentley, if available, might be one of the linebackers that the Vikings target in free agency. Him having an expected contract of $5.5 million per year, he might not be available. I'm sure he's probably going to re-sign. Juwan Bentley, if he's available, if he's cheap. And last but not least, PFF's 10th ranked linebacker would be Jayon Brown. His 2021 PFF grade was 53.0. That's 50th out of 89 linebackers. Jayon Brown for the Titans, had a down year. He had the least amount of snaps his career. He may be like a Nick Vigil type of signing, where you sign him for 1 year, see if he does anything, see if he can kind of stand out, give him some playing time. But as we transition into this 3-4 defense, we're going to need to figure out, who can play and who can't, who's going to fit the scheme, who's not, and then obviously we're going to go into free agency with some big time changes coming, some major signings. But first, of course, we got to get underneath the cap. So that means that there's even bigger moves coming prior to any of this happening. So tell me what you guys think. Who do you think we should actually target in free agency at the linebacker position specifically? Put your comments in the section below. And until next time, Skull, my brothers and sisters.